According to Forbes, 80% of New Year's resolutions fail by February.
Say what?
I want to help you avoid that. And in this video, I'm going to show you how. Now, the first thing before we start is if you want to get to a new destination, it's going to be difficult if you don't have a map, right? If you don't have a plan to get there. And so that's what we're going to be discussing today. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you to another episode of Master the Mind. And today we're going to be talking about how to have New Year's resolutions that stick. New Year's resolutions that work and that are going to make your 2021 absolutely amazing. And here's the reality. We want 2021 to be a completely different year. Like a number of sound effects come when we think of 2020. Yes, like a lot of people have not been very happy with 2020. And so 2021, we want it to be a completely different year. We want 2021 to be a year that transforms a lot of our results. The challenge is for things to change, we must change. But the reality is only 8% of people keep New Year's resolutions. Only 8% of people keep New Year's resolutions all year long. Most people drop off their New Year's resolutions. But I want to show you how to do it. And but the reality is if you keep doing what you've always done, you'll keep getting what we always got. And so I want to give you some new ways of doing things. And by the way, I have fallen victim to the old ways. So I just want to share with you what has changed for me. What's up, Laura? Great to see you. Always a pleasure to see you. So let's get going. I'm going to be sharing with you 6 keys to having New Year's resolutions that stick. 6 keys to having New Year's resolutions that stick. So let's start off with number one. The first thing that we have to do if we're creating New Year's resolutions is figuring out how will we know when we're successful. Because so many of us, we create these resolutions where we're like, we want more of this or less of that, but we don't know specifically. A great question to ask yourself is, what are you going to see, hear, or feel when you achieve your goal? So it's not just, hey, like I know when I'll get my goal. What are you going to see? What are you going to hear? What are you going to feel when you achieve your goal? How are you going to know when you're going to achieve your goal? We need to know exactly what is the goal line, not just keep moving the goal line all the time. This gives us something specific to work towards. So that's the first one. How will you know? What are you going to see, hear, and feel that will let you know I have achieved my goal? Okay, so that's number one. And here is number two. What gets recorded gets rewarded. The challenge happens that I've done this is where I set a goal and I measure myself at the beginning of the year, and then I don't do anything for the whole year. I don't measure myself until the next year. And what we got to do is what gets recorded gets rewarded. So you want to keep a track of what it is that you are aiming to improve. If it's finances, if it's health, if it's how much you speak. Literally, I was recording how many times I would speak, and I had a goal by the way at the beginning of the year to speak a lot more. I've actually hit that goal out the park because I was like, maybe I'm going to speak about twice a week. But I would record it. Every time I'd speak, I'd make a note of it. And so what gets recorded gets rewarded. The more that you take time to actually measure, analyze, and see what results that you're getting. If you measure something once a day versus once a year, you're going to pay a lot more attention to it. You're going to optimize it a lot more. If you measure once like once a month versus once a year is better. Once a week versus once a month is better. Once a day versus once a week is better. But if you did it twice a day, then you're really paying attention to something. So what gets rewarded gets rewarded. So that's number 2.
Number three.
Number 3, get someone to hold you accountable. Having someone that you can go to and will say, have you done it? Have you done what you're going to say what you said you were going to do, is so powerful. I have hired coaches to hold me accountable and just to check up that I am doing what I said I would be doing, because otherwise just life gets in the way, stuff happens. But if you have someone that you know is going to just follow up and say, hey, you said you were going to make a video, did you make a video? You said you were going to write a page for your website, did you do it? I have someone that holds me accountable, and because someone holds me accountable, I get a lot more done. Find someone to hold you accountable. Get accountability buddy. Find a family member, or just tell people in public. I've told multiple people that I'd be making a video every single day, and now I'm accountable. Find someone to hold you accountable, and you are more likely to succeed. So that's number 3.
Number four.
And number 4 is get clear on the challenges that you might be facing. Here's the reality: we are going to face challenges. If it's something new that you haven't faced before, we all like to be really optimistic and think, yeah, nothing's gonna happen. I'll do it. Okay, I believe you're gonna do it, but let's get clear. What are some of the challenges that you're gonna face? The more that we get clear on what some of the challenges are that we might be facing, the more that we are going to be able to counteract that, find a way to overcome those things. The more that, I was like, okay, what happens if I am sick, or what happens if I am away from my from the house in terms of my life? Like, I thought of these things before I decided to put in a goal. So I have a plan B for a number of different scenarios. So you just got to get clear on the challenges. Like, challenges are going to come up. Let's not pretend that they won't. Let's understand that they will and figure out, okay, what are we going to do when they come up? So that is number 4.
Number five.
Number 5 is understanding that if your goal or your New Year's resolution is about a habit, okay, the most important thing at the beginning is establishing the habit, not the quality of the habit, right? So, for example, at the beginning, just doing a video a day they didn't have to be amazing, but establishing the habit at the beginning is more important than the quality. Because if you want to start working out, setting up the routine of working out is more important than the quality of the workout at the start, because what's going to serve you in the long run is the habit. And so appreciating that you want to be able to set a habit and focusing, like, not worrying about how good it is initially, just set your habit, and that's going to be much more powerful in the long run than just focusing on the first day that you do something, making sure it's the best in the world. No, just do it and improve as you go along. So if we're talking about a habit, establish the habit versus having a great quality of a habit right at the beginning. So that is number 5.
Number six.
And number 6 is, let's figure out what is the first step that you can take right now. So if you set up a goal, I want you to figure out what is the smallest thing that you can do like almost like straight away, that will in your mind make you think, okay, I've started down this path. And here's why this is so important. Because when we come up with goals, we're like, you know what, one day I'll do it, one day I'll do it. But as soon as we take even the smallest step, we have gone from 0 to 1. Okay, mathematically, when you go from a 0 to a 1, that is so much more impressive than going from 1 to 2. Because if you, like, what do you need to multiply 0 by in order to get to 1? It's infinite. But to go from 1 to 2, we're just doubling. So understanding to go from nothing to something is so powerful, even if it's the tiniest step. So you want to take a small step and take it straight away. It doesn't have to be big. The first step that you can take means that you've started the journey, and then it's just about finishing it. But starting the journey one day is a lot more of a challenge, and when we just may not get to that one day. So figure out what is the first step that you can take that will move you towards your goal, and take it. It's a little mind hack. Your mind will be like, well, I've just started, I might as well complete. Versus, you know what, one day I need to do, I should do it. Okay. So that is number 6. And just the number 7 is figuring out what your why is. Why is it so important to you? Why, like, understand why this goal is so important to you. When we understand our why, it is so powerful in terms of motivating us. Like the reasons we do anything are much more powerful than the how. If you have a strong enough why, you'll figure out the how. So those are our 7 steps so that you can have New Year's resolutions that stick. And I want you to remember one thing. If you fail to plan, you'll plan to fail. And using these 6 keys will give you a much better start, so that you're not one of those 80% of people that have failed their New Year's resolutions by February. I want to make sure that you do achieve them. So I want to thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you. And if you have not, please do subscribe. And I will catch you on another episode real soon. Peace out, one love. And I will see you on another episode real soon. Bye for now.